Welcome to my channel, Super Genius Chronicles. I joke that I'm a jack of all trades, master of two, those two being engineering and problem solving. Decades doing this. I've been doing video games, hardware, software, and more. Finally got my act together, been too busy, and I know it's about time. So I hope you enjoy this video. All right. Well, with this video, I'm going to show you how you can quickly integrate a JSON schema loader into our Genius wallet, how we do it, and how quickly we can basically add stuff with the help of Claude AI, artificial intelligence, as an assistant. It's going to be quite a fun project. Shouldn't take very long. I'm starting at 2:16, and I'll let you know how long it takes to kind of build that in after we generated the token loader. I want to be able to load that JSON data in to Dart for my Flutter app, and so I'm going to ask it to do that. All right, in here, first things that I wanted to show you is I had previously uploaded some stuff to Claude AI for this project. I like to create projects under the AI systems, and usually that's because there's different things you can do in here. For instance, on this Genius wallet, I gave it some instructions here, project instructions, and I usually give it some Dart instructions, and so I will show you that. I had written up some instructions before with Grok for Dart, so I add this to make sure that it follows my coding practices and things like that. And so if I search this, I should be able to find Dart. Here we go. So I set up example tasks and specifics and some of my Dart guidelines for the squid router. So I'm going to change this actually to just generic Dart guidelines, and I'll ask it to spew it out. This way I can look up the API in the Flutter code as well. That's very important in this respect, is that you have to give it a lot of details, and I'm not going to be using, see, it's already started to say something about Open API Generator. I'm just verifying, yeah, it does have this Open API Generator. We're going to be using a schema to Dart code generator called Quicktype. Okay, and then I'll output that all for you, which is great. So I'm using one. It's kind of tricky, I know, but I'm using one AI to basically help me tell another AI what kind of principles to stick to in terms of my coding standards, like I said, my engineering practices, and things like that, and the architecture I like to see. And you can see the code style and the Flutter specific parameters there coming out. Now you can see Quicktype coming out from JSON configured to produce JSON serializable, blah, 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 step by step, because when interacting with AI, sometimes these guys, these AI systems will just start outputting a lot of code, and you don't want it to do that because it'll all be wrong. It'll be 70% correct, and that 30% is very hard to get a hold of. See, it's already starting to do more than I wanted it to, and so I don't want it to kind of generate that stuff. I just wanted the code. It oversteps its bounds sometimes, which is crazy. I don't know why I have to tell them, hey, I didn't want all that stuff. Yeah, but actually this may have done what I needed it to anyway. You know, this is good, but I want this to run this Quicktype command. It's already installed, so I want it to run the Quicktype command if any of the files have been updated automatically during the build process. So this is one way to do it, but the whole main reason I wanted to go over to Claude is I wanted it to integrate it into the build operations that, like I said, if anything's been updated. So what you can do is now take Dart guidelines I have here, and I'm going to switch over to Claude, and you can see it doesn't have any set project instructions. So now I can just paste this in here, and it should stick to most of this. Sometimes it forgets, but I just like to prep it with, you know, project knowledge. And so the next part of this is the code layout. Since I've updated the Genius wallet, what I do is I installed something called Tree, And I think I give it like dash level 5. I don't really care. Period. And you'll see what it does is that it outputs all the code tree, because you can't upload a zip file in Claude. You can in, maybe you can unpack the zip file and add it to your project knowledge page. You can do that in Gemini, which is nice. I wish Claude would add that. But I basically give it the tree file so that when I upload the files, it knows where that directories are. And so I'll do this greater than code layout dot text, and that gives me that tree that you saw there. And then I'll open this so that I can actually, so you can see the code layout here. So I get rid of the old one here and add the new one in here, and it adds it to the knowledge base. And so now I'm going to start a new chat, and I'm going to give it a mission that, well, I actually am going to upload kind of the token info stuff that we did, at least the token info schema and the token JSONs in here, because that's what we're going to be working with. I don't think I need the my application, but I'm going to leave that for now. All right, so now given the code layout dot text file or the struct directory structure of this code base, I want to a build step that checks for token info / tokens.json updates and generate the files into lib / token info / directory using a globally installed version QuickType. And that way, I don't want the project to, have QuickType locally. It starts to pollute your hard drive when you have a bunch of non-globally installed tools like this, and they just sit all over the place. And so really the first thing I did here was npm-g. So now it's going to start generating the code, and I may have to stop it and let's see what happens. Searching project. I got to stop it too, because one of the other things I like to tell it is, please do not guess what a file might contain. If you are missing data information, ask me to add the file. This way it won't make assumptions, because when it makes assumptions, it gets it all wrong. Okay, so see, this is great. The current PubSpec file. All right, so I'm going to open up a new window because I want to be able to see the project here. Genius Wallet. Okay, the current PubSpec. Understand the project structure and existing dependencies. I think it's not, it's in there, but it may be old, so I'll re-upload it just in case. Going over to IntelliJ. And this is what's nice about IntelliJ too. And I'm sure other things can do this, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag and drop PubSpec from here, PubSpec YAML. See, I can drop it right over into here. Boom, it added it. It asked me to add any build.yaml file if present. We don't have that. Token info, schema.json. And all right, so now I can tell it all files are in the project knowledge area. All right, except there isn't a build.yaml. All right, now it should be good to go. It should be much closer to what final part of that. So now it's searching the project. All right, and so you got to kind of watch this sometimes too, because it'll just draft the whole thing for you when there's a simple change, and the instructions say that it should not generate a whole file unless absolutely necessary. I like it to do the step-by-step and just give me a couple things, because if you don't, like I said, it'll just generate a bunch of things. And I mean, here's one thing, builder.dart. Do we really need all of this? So I'm going to stop it and tell it to please stick to minimal amount of changes, only output full file if more changes. Also, shouldn't we just have the build YAML call out to a shell to run the generation instead of a hated. See, this is what I'm talking about. The AI will sometimes just go completely overboard for stuff that's really not necessary. And you're absolutely right. And it's always going to agree with you, but yeah. So generate tokens. See, there's a shell script to call generate the tokens, but I really don't even know how it's going to call that shell script. Let's see if it's in build YAML. Builders, token JSON, token info, tool, sources, tool, targets, package, script builder, build factory script builder, script builder. Okay, well, that's probably fine. I mean, that's way easier for me. The token model.dart, update, get, ignore. Okay, cool. So here it's telling me what I should do because it's only a single line change. So I like that because, I can make sure everything's correct as I go along instead of it generating, 100% of the code, me finding out where the errors are. And that's what vibe coding is. And this is what I don't like about vibe coding. Just, use get, ignore, and make sure I add to the bottom of this that, this is a generated file. We probably should rename that token.g.dart. I don't know if the script file can do that or not. Let's see here. Make dir lib token info, QuickType language Dart, schema, scheming it under token info, source, tokens.json, lib token. All right, so I can change this. I'll copy it, and it should have known, but it didn't. All generated. See, it does things that are out of the ordinary. So it's just going to regenerate the script there real quick for me. And then I'll, of course, update the get ignored yeah, that's better. I think I like that better. Anyway, also for ignoring, because we don't know, maybe there's some new ones that are going to come in there. And the token model code, token model, main file, you import. Right. And so I like this better because then if we ever have to regenerate, we don't have to worry about yeah, I don't know if we need a separate file for this necessarily, unless we're going to extend the token model .dart. So we'll just ignore this part for now until the tool generate. So now I'm going to copy this file, copy, go over to IntelliJ, create a tools directory because I don't believe it's there. New folder directory, tools, tool. Yeah, how about tools? It's just little things like that that you have to kind of work with the AI because it does weird things that I don't understand sometimes. Like, why wouldn't you call it tools instead of tool? But just that's nitpicky, I know. So we're going to add this to GitHub. I'm going to paste that in there. You can see that all looks pretty good. I'm pretty sure this is going to work. Let's go into my directory here and say quick help, make sure it's there. It isn't, so npm -g install QuickType. Major version update, and let's see, so now let's see. And there you go. It's installed globally. I must have installed it at home previously, and that's why it wasn't here. But you can see it's pretty quick to do that. All I did was type npm -g install. I could use yarn too, but -g install QuickType, and it looks like it's the right QuickType. Yep. All right, so now go back over here. We have the tools, and so now I have to take build.yaml. Also have to create that. Run the build. Tokens. I do have to possibly do that. Tools. Yeah. Change mod +X generate. All right. So just so you know, I'm on a Mac, but most of this stuff works on Linux or in Windows. You can do this as well. It's very similar, but you know, maybe a little bit difference for making an executable. I try to do everything cross-platform. All right, so we need to change to the YAML file of this. And that's the pubspec YAML file. And we'll just add this. I could have done this via the command line dependencies. So you can either add it directly to the pubspec, or you can see it's got packages here. Flutter, dev dependencies. It's the Flutter test. So I'll add here a JSON serializer. Save that. I'll probably have to run pub get code. So here's the build YAML. Copy this, and this goes into the main directory. File build.yaml. So add it there. Okay. So token info. So yeah, it has tool, and I want tools. Token info, build package build runner, script builder, token info. Yeah, script tools. Thank you. All right. So that's done. Okay, and now it shows you how to kind of run this. So I'm going to go to the directory, and this is the GS wallet directory, and I'm going to say Flutter. This is a Flutter project. You could use Dart. Flutter get, and it should load the dependencies, including the new JSON serializer. You can see that right there. It's got a plus in it, so it added that, so we're all good there. Okay. So now we should be able to, I think I've got everything. I don't want to watch it, but this is kind of run the build and see what happens here. Flutter pub run build runner build. So I'll paste this in here. And we'll give it to Mac OS to run just in case it's needing. All right, building executable package, generating build script. See it completed there. The precompile failed. It's likely caused a misconfigured build definition. Build script. All right, let's see what happened. So this is what I'm talking about. AI sometimes doesn't understand or did something. Dart tool script builder, I8 script builder, error undefined name script builder. So we have to go back to here and say, hey, you have an error, AI. Hey, warning, it's causing an error. The script build approach isn't a built-in feature of build runner. It looks usually a simpler approach that works with existing build runner infrastructure. Stop. No, I'm not going to use a make file. See, it'll go overboard and start to complicate things really quickly. And so you have to tell it, no, just tell me how to integrate into script builder. I don't want you to try a whole new way of doing things. If you get something wrong, it's like, oh, let's try something completely new. Use a make file. Custom builder. Here's the minimal step. So now it's going to. No, okay, I don't. Oh, I see. So it made something. So we have CMake files already in here for some of the other stuff. Not too happy that I have to make another builder.dart, but this almost seems ridiculous. Yeah, we have a build script, so, but I do want it to check. What I'm doing is actually asking it to generate, check the file to see, because I don't want it to, yeah. Okay, so now it's going to draft the list of source files and output files, blah, to see if the schema is greater than, okay, there we go. So that's much better. This is probably the easiest way. I don't want to build this whole big thing just to generate this file, because it's not going to happen very often. I mean, I guess I could put it in the, so use the pre-build hook in PubSpec. So that's what I don't understand. Why does it think that it's not a standard? So I want to explain that it's why it doesn't think that's a standard Dart feature. So see, it sometimes it makes an error. It's like, oh, hey, this isn't a standard Dart feature, but I'm just going to, assume that this might be available because you're running under, Node.js and packages, and PubSpec supports executables for creating command line tools, but not arbitrary scripts. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the very simple shell script wrapper. I don't want to build this whole entire thing for something so simple. So I think it's back to build shell, make a modification to it to do this, because we have this already in our code, and this is just going to be so much simpler than writing all this build script just to generate some files. So inside, we can actually get rid of build YAML now, because we're no longer need that. Simplify it, delete. All right, so in the build directory, we already have run, release, run, debug, and here we have at the top here we should have, we don't have build. See run, Flutter run, Okay, so that's for debugging it, but not building it. Yep, I guess build.sh is probably pretty good. New file, build.sh. Yeah, add it. And we're going to do this for both. It's kind of not exactly what I want, though, too, because this Flutter pub run build runner build, because to build it, the way we do it now is this Flutter. We really should add to this $1 in case you want to specify which operating system to build. If there is nothing, that's fine. Flutter run release set CMake arguments, Flutter run release. So I just give it to their build of this project is more complicated. Should look like this. Okay, I'm going to add this instead of token. It's going to call tools generate Flutter run release $1. And slash do it there. It'll probably correct the $1, I'm hoping. Okay, so this is the batch file. It's like tool. See, it's still putting it under tool. I should have told it I changed the directory. Set one. Okay, so I did correct it. So all right. So I'll copy this. Looks like tool. Of course, I want it to be tools. I'll probably rewrite the code here for me, which I'm okay with. Of course, it does waste a lot of output to do this. So usually what I'll do it is like, hey, just for your reference, don't output new code, or else it's going to be wasting a lot of tokens for you. So this is the that, all right. %1, this is the batch file. So copy that and bring it over into here. So now I need, okay, so I have build new file, build dot. Yes, set it to the, all right, so this looks good to me. Release, this is actually build release. Guess I could copy this and give it build debug. I guess we could default. Yeah. So let's do this. Let's replace the release if %. Yeah. Okay. So that's so we won't have multiple files. You know, I could have just done it, you know, build, debug, build that, but I think this is much better so that we can build, so we can specify whether it's debug or release, or, and also what the operating system is as well. So I'm telling you, I don't understand what the $@ is there, what that's doing. You're right, that means all arguments passed to the script. Let's make it clear with optional arguments. Yeah, I mean, that's the problem. Yeah, there we go. Extra args. Because it had --debug, so it's going to pass that in. And I don't want to have to type --release. So I wanted to do that. So that's right. This is better. Flutter run. Flutter mode. Extra args. Wait a minute. Why is that Flutter run? See, this is what I'm talking about. That should be Flutter build. And this is what I'm talking about when you're working with AI. It's an assistant. See? Absolutely right. For a build script, it should be Flutter build, not Flutter run. This is what I'm talking about. It's working with AI. And so I've already spent 45 minutes, 40 minutes on this. But if you think about it, me writing this code by myself, I'd have to go look things up and figure things out for myself, where this can look at the APIs, but it will make mistakes. So you kind of have to, check it. See, I didn't ask it to do this either. And it went overboard again. It started, I don't know why it added all this build types. Second argument, not --debug, is actually target. I mean, can't you just do Flutter build? See, it's overkill again. No need to identify the target if you do Flutter build build mode percent extra args percent. See if it says that. Yeah. So I mean, it's ridiculous, because my only argument is definitely it overcomplicates stuff a lot of times. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Okay, blah blah blah. Build type is release. If I don't specify anything, it's going to default to something anyway. So let me just cut the code down tremendously, because all I wanted to do is say, hey, that's it. Default to release. Well, I mean, I don't understand why it didn't default build mode to -- release. Should have. Extra args is nothing, which is fine. Build mode, build type. See, it made a mistake again though, because I want build mode should have defaulted. Absolutely right. Of course I am. Telling you what the heck you're doing wrong. Yeah, it's got to put in quotes too. That was maybe not batch file, I guess. Okay, so finally we're here. Okay, this all looks right to me. Tools, generate token, Flutter, pub, run, build. Why does it have this in here? Don't need this. Okay, so it made a mistake because it thought the build runner. It just made some assumptions. It's like, oh, hey, yeah, let's remove it, and blah, blah. You're right. Since we removed the build YAML, yes, of course. Shorten it a little bit more. This is the problem I have with AI. It's just like sometimes. So, well, why didn't you remove it from the bat file? Yeah, okay. That's interesting. Weird. I'm glad it removed it from one and not another. That's the thing that happens often too. It'll remove it from one. Okay, so now I should be able to, looks good to me, paste that in there, take the version 8 to build bat, and paste that in there. Okay, now this should work, because what's happening is I'm telling it if I have an argument that's --debug, set the build type to debug, which sets the CMake build type, calls the tools generate token .bat, which now I'll need to go paste those, because those are generate tokens .bat file. Yes, edit. All right, so now generate tokens batch. I want to look over this. Source looks good. Tokens JSON. That could have been passed, but that's okay. I'm okay with it just being like that for now. It'd probably be better to somehow, star token info star.json, but we're only doing it for one file. You can see the output file name needs rebuild false. It's going to check the times. if not exist, then it needs rebuild. Source lib, output files. If source time is greater, it needs rebuild, so that's good. Blah, blah, needs rebuild true, build. Generating token models. Don't really like the go-tos, but that's okay. Should have been a function. Yeah, sorry. You can't have go-tos. I'm just telling you that I don't. That's part of my coding standards. Go-tos are never to be used, even in the batch file. I mean, it's ridiculous because they have functions in batch files. So I don't know why it just did this go-to crud. Yeah, exit/b. I don't know what that means. Needs rebuild is true. Check rebuild. Build tokens. If not existing token, blah, blah, blah. Build tokens. Okay, so it just falls through. No, why did we call a function? Oh, maybe that's shell script. Maybe that's why. Into a function batch. That's probably my fault. Oh, okay, so it is. So you can call it. Okay, but who's calling it? Call, check, rebuild, call. Well, timing. What's the exit? Oh, exit b slash. Oh, I see what it's doing. It's exiting the function. Okay. All right. So it is a function. It is generating functions. Okay. I just didn't understand. I thought it was falling through here and going to exit b, which I thought would exit the script, but it is call, check, rebuild, and then that just exits. Sets needs rebuild. I guess you could have said could have checked the return value, instead of setting this to false, but I think either way works, but I would have preferred to have return value instead of it just seems a little bit weird to me. It's like I'm not sure it's going to give you failed to generate token model exit/b/1 from the built tokens, but isn't that going to just return up here and then return an exit? See, here's another error. I think exit/b1 return to script with exit//0. Maybe don't understand. Yeah. See, another thing that AI did wrong. Could be wrong. If error level 1 checks this and return if error level 1. Yeah, if error level 1 exit b1. Also, so let's check build return the boolean as well is error level function. I mean, I don't understand why it says exit/b. Batch file, so you can return values from functions at exit b value. The return value is accessible through error level. Turn 1 for. Okay, there you go. It's like, well, I don't understand why it had all this crud in it, setting something and then checking in. And it's like, if error level equals 1, means. So then why does this, again, I don't like the fact that it's keeping one line. Coding standards are to never have if statements And just so everybody knows, the reason is because you can never put a breakpoint on the condition after the condition's met. And never, who cares if it's on 2 lines or 1 line? And if you have it on 2 lines, then you can put a breakpoint if the if is true. And I've quite often done that. So that's why I'm a big stickler for 1 line if statements. But anyway, it's not too big of a deal, but it's kind of odd then. Why does checks setting error level down here? No, they're returning. Oh, I see, because, okay. I guess it really doesn't matter there. I can see what it's doing is error level is set from the Quicktype, and it's going to be something other than 0. Another error, I believe. Yeah, there's no error level in there. I don't think that would have worked. Yeah, anyway, it's consistent now. All right, so copy that to batch file so that it just formats it correctly. At least highlighting. I mean, the highlighting. Yeah, there we go. I just want the highlighting. Okay, cool. All right, so that looks good. Now, this one, we got to make sure this one has been updated. And which I probably should have done earlier because now I got to find it again. Scrolling up, scrolling up, scrolling up. It's good to have it re-output it. Sometimes I think you might be able to do, here we go. Tools, generate tokens.shell. This is the latest version. Yeah. This is one nice thing they added that I really like about Claude is you can actually find the outputs there. So I'll copy that because it's a lot bigger than this now. All right, I'm going to kind of run through this. Source files, blah, 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 needs rebuild. Yep, okay, if it needs rebuild, then, yeah, this one should have been set up in a function as well. I'm telling it to regenerate the tokens shell with the same kind of thing so it matches more closely with the batch file. And hopefully now it'll generate version 4 cleaner instead of this if statements. Yeah, there we go. See, look, check rebuild. Nice. Check rebuild, check functions, and down at the bottom, check rebuild. Yep. So much cleaner code. I just don't know why the code just generates this like lengthy if statements of that. It's just horrible. Non-modular junior level code. And I tell it to be a senior level engineer and it doesn't. The other thing it never does is put an extra space in the end of the code, extra return, I mean. All right, so now these, I think these will work. Looking at it, check rebuild, something simple, generating token models, make derf, doesn't exist, Quicktype, if, all right, so now we can go try this. I'm just actually going to try this generate token script itself. And so I'll go in here, and inside here I'll go tool/generate tokens shell, generated error option parsing failed. So again, there shouldn't have to be a default. Check rebuild, build tokens. Okay, so the batch, the build sh, to case argin, extra args equals blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I'm not sure what's going on. Failed to generate token models. So here's where I don't like this because it'll add debugging, and I don't like to debug. Never add debug code. I use a debugger. What is it doing? So it may have modified tools, generate tokens. See, makes mistakes. No, this isn't making any sense. I think it's got the Quicktype things wrong. Don't even think that's the way it works. So now let's go. Let's type in Quicktype help. Okay, so so dash source is the tokens. Dash source language. Okay, so it's the out part of it. You don't need the source. This is ridiculous because the source, no, what the hell is it doing here? So the problem is that the file URL is the last specification and it's mixing up the tokens.json is a sample file. So this is the schema file, which I don't think you even need to do dash source. I don't even know if that works. Okay, top level. All right. And then we don't need this dash source. We need a slash here. And the schema file is where it's coming from. So I think this is right. And so now I can go tell it, I think this is right. Yeah, so you don't even use the dash source thing. So this is what it should be. Now let's go see if it works. And then making the edits and probably batch file as well. See, it doesn't, I don't know why I didn't check the output of that. Use dash source. So what I'm doing now is I got to go tell it where the QuickType current parameters are. So I'll go to QuickType current parameters GitHub, because this is the other thing, is it's probably using some old parameters or something like that. QuickType FAQ, supporting inputs. QuickType dash source. First way to do the same thing. Okay. Source language JSON. I don't actually have to do it. Okay, so that this there's a quick dash O dash out top level language source language source. I guess we could have left it in here. Just think that we could have done the dash source instead of putting it at the end. Okay, see, now here's another thing that it does. I don't think this is going to work. The heck is all this extra data in there? There's another problem with code. And then here I am wasting tokens. Let's go back to version 6. This actually seems like it might be okay. No, it's got the just types in there too. What the hell is that? Source language is JSON. Can we have source language with schema? Source URLs, dash source. See, I don't even see source type in here. Options are source, the file you're to type, source URLs, trace grammar described URLs to crawl. I don't see any source type in here. Source lang, I don't even see source lang in here. Well, at least it got most of it internal error. Failed to generate token models. It says output, running QuickType error, internal error. Oh, just great. Okay. Let's go make sure. Here's the other thing I can do is make sure that this spec is correct. And so I can go copy this and I can go into QuickType itself. QuickType, paste this in here. Generate for Dart. Null safety. All right, let's set some of the code. Null safety. You could do all this in this UI and then paste it in your code, but I want it to be where it updates all the time. So we're going on 1 hour now working on this, which is longer than I'd like to. So what I'm looking at is now what we are generating. Okay, so language Dart, types only, just types. Yes, that's true. Put encoder and decoder in class, make all properties required properties, make all properties final. Just doesn't have that. Generate copy with method, other. Use method from map, generate class definitions with freeze compatibility. Oh, well, this might be nice. Hive adapter, generate annotations for generators. Use this name in part directive. Sure. All right, so it seems to work with the schema. So the schema is okay. Source type schema. Maybe the source language is schema. Maybe this is nope. All right. So what is the command? See what the heck it's providing to here and why it's failing compared to doing this in here. As a class coordinate. So this should work, and I'm not sure what's going on. I'm just trying to embed it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here and I'm going to actually echo this instead of running it. Well, that's what it's supposed to output. So now I can models generated successfully. For some reason, not sure what source language schema, language Dart, out, lib token model, g.dart, no date times. Fatal, what? Eternal fatal error. Why is Quicktype doing this? It's bizarre. Maybe it's probably running under the wrong code or something. Seen that before. Just internal error, period. Now I'm looking for the error of why this thing has an internal error. Turn that all on in there. So I don't see anything wrong with this. What's the internal error? I'm going to start turning these off one at a time. Turn them all off. Internal error state. Oh. Really? Language Dart in there twice. Oh my gosh. Can't believe that errored out the code. All right. Well, anyway. All right. So now we'll get over here and get rid of the language Dart out of here twice. Now that should work. All right, so now we'll come back over here. I'm telling it to update the batch script because this now works over here, so now I ran it separately, so now I could actually try this. In the file, yeah, it's messed up because it introduced garbage. Oh, so it's going to rewrite the whole thing. I don't want to check it, but that will generate the token input. Let's go see what it generated now, because I already generated this. So under lib token info, let's see token model here. And there's the import. And I'm not sure that it'll compile necessarily, but we'll see. There's the token model G, the generated class. Seems pretty actually straightforward. Yeah. So now you should be able to load it from a URL. Well, I mean, I'll have to have it load from a URL on top of this class. It'll basically take and use this class and derive from it and load it from a URL. I'm basically going to either have, yeah, this is a model that has a G and loads JSON from a URL. Let's make sure, oh, wait. Oh, no, this didn't generate the code, so I have to generate the code. It's not the full part of this. So actually, it doesn't include the encoders and decoders. So I need that part, the to JSON from JSON. So in general, I want to take and rerun tools code. Yeah, that should, token models are up to date. So now I'm going to touch token info slash token schema. Run this. Generated. All right. Oh, option parsing failed. Failed to generate. Wait, what? Oh, what did it do? Option parsing failed. Wish you would just tell me it's an invalid. Tell me what it is. It would be a lot easier. Sorry, not telling me which one's the error. I just love code that does that. Oh, yeah, now it works. Okay. It's not required properties. It's required props. And again, you can see that AI is not to snuff when it comes to this because it's thinking or why stuff doesn't work. It just guesses, or I'm not sure. So let's just do this quick type. Okay, so that one's correct. All properties optional. Cool. Yay, generated successfully. finally, for all that work, only an hour and a half later, hour and 40 minutes later, in general, it's just kind of what you go through sometimes with AI. Sometimes it's a lot quicker too. Claude's usually a lot better, but sometimes I have to give it the API. But once you get it to this state, if I had a lot more code to generate, it'd be great. So yeah, that's kind of the end to this. It's now generating the code, and I will go test the build on that. It should generate fine and integrate the rest of that. This is kind of how we work with AI. It did take over an hour, about an hour and a half, a little over an hour and 40 minutes to get this. Normally when you get to this point, if you have a big project now, you can start generating code because it has the context for everything that needs to be done and all the issues. But, you know, we did generate quite a bit of code and lines of code. Normally it's about 100 lines of code per day. And I think we generated that in about an hour and a half. I would have had to go figure out all this stuff and check the API, even though I had to check some of it. But it's all good. I'm glad. Looking forward to the next video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.